Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at the Best Hit Chronicle PlayStation by Bandai. Hey, wait a minute. What the hell? Caution, this product cannot be used to play video games. But I wanted to play Vagrant Story, TM. Oh well, now that my dreams have crashed and burned, we might as well take a look at this right here, which, of course, is a model kit. An officially licensed product that is 2/5 scale? Now that is an odd scale. Anyway, as you can tell from the box, this is a 2/5 plastic model kit of a PlayStation 1 by Bandai. This should cost you in around 2,500 yen if I am not mistaken, which is exactly the same price in yen as an actual pre-owned PlayStation 1, so you could actually get something that plays games as well. 5/5 scale, and kind of, well, serves a purpose. And the circuit boards are color accurate, but otherwise, you can build this right here, like I'm about to do right now. On cracking the box open, this is what you get inside. If you've seen Bandai's model kits before, like Gunpla, etc., this is something very, very familiar to you. But if you haven't, we've just got a bunch of bags in here. These contain all the plastic runners. As well as the runners, we've also got a couple of sheets of stickers. 4 runners, including one that has a bunch of different color separated parts on it. We've got one that's completely clear, which has the disc on it. A wire for the control pad. A small tiny circuit board in brown. And this final runner right here gives you a general idea of just how tiny this little thing is. I guess 2/5 scale is a little smaller than I thought it would be. Lastly, then, the box, we've got that manual. Now let's check it out. If you are familiar with Bandai's model kits, you'll know there are 2 types of manuals. The pamphlet style like this, which means it's not going to take that long, and then there's the booklet style, which takes a little bit longer. So this should not take too long to build, and I have to say, at first I thought this was a very daft concept and be like, I don't understand exactly who would want this, but the more I see of it, the more I am falling in love with it. This is a pretty cool concept. Now let's get it built. Whether you're a beginner or a veteran model kit builder, this is an incredibly simple kit that isn't made up of too many parts. The plastic is extremely good buttery quality, and it is so simple you could almost build it without the instructions. On the off chance you did just come across this video and you've never seen any of my videos before, you don't build model kits or anything similar, the easiest way to cut this out and deal with it is just to use the 2-snip method. To do that, you don't cut out the parts close to where they're attached, you cut them out a little further away and then snip it off from the actual piece with this second snip. That causes less stress, less marks, etc. to the plastic. There are some relatively large gates on this kit, which is where the plastic mold attaches to the part you want to remove, so if you do have a lower quality nipper, you may end up with some big chunky bites into the plastic. This right here may actually look like a Tamiya nipper to those who know what a Tamiya nipper is, but it isn't actually. This is a no-name brand nipper that I actually took the handle parts off of a Tamiya nipper and put them on because it was so uncomfortable to use. But yeah, if you do have a not so great nipper, I recommend cutting a little further away and then sanding down the nub. You're less likely to get some marks then. There's a couple of visible mold lines on this kit, not a whole lot to deal with those. Once again, just sand those or file those away. But in general, none of them actually show up, so you don't have to worry about that. When this is all cut out, you can see that it isn't actually made out of all that many parts. This is very simple to put together. All of the parts look great. A lot of the circuit board parts, etc. aren't fully color accurate, just like the box said, but you can paint these up if you want. But when this is finished, you will not be able to see all of them, so keep that in mind, whether it's worth your time or not. So in general, the assembly is fairly simple, but in case you want to see what it's like putting it together, well, here it is. there is only a couple of comments I will make about this build. One is, you do have to put the memory card stickers on before you actually finish the assembly, otherwise you will have to disassemble it to attach them because they go in a recessed area. That is easy. Also, there is one section in the manual that isn't all that clear, and that is you should put down this silver section before you put down the brown section of the circuit board, because the brown section does block the silver one from being put on. Usually in the manual it does say the number 1 step, then the number 2 step, but in this situation it did not say that, so keep that in mind. Bandai also gives you a lot more cable than you actually need for the controller, so you can decide how long or short you want that cable. The actual length for it to be 2/5 scale accurate is 20 centimeters, which is on this little ruler on the outside of one of the manual pages. However, you do almost get double the amount of cable, so if you want a super long cable, you can have one. So when it is complete, this is what it looks like. So first off, here it is without any of the stickers attached besides those memory card ones. I think this looks fantastic. The detail on it looks great, especially the PlayStation logo on the lid section of the PlayStation itself. This does get covered up by one of the stickers, which is a little bit of a letdown. This right here then is what everything looks like once all those stickers are attached. So as you can see, that color accurate PlayStation logo on the lid there does cover up the nice detailing. So once again, it is up to yourself whether or not you want to use some stickers on this, whether you want to paint it, or whether you want to leave it as is. But either way, this thing looks and feels phenomenal. So this right here is what you get once you're finished, and this is pretty cool. So once again, it is the PS1 itself looking pretty cool, the tiny little control pad, which is absolutely adorable, a memory card, and a blank looking disc. So there's nothing really to this whatsoever. I will mention that the stickers on this, they're on okay, I kind of rushed them on, but if you want to get these perfect and you're kind of a little bit afraid of screwing them up, then you can use the old trick of putting a little bit of soap or detergent in water, putting in a little spray bottle like what you're seeing here, and if you coat this surface before putting the sticker on, you can move it around, then dry it off with a Q-tip or cotton bud, leave it for a while, and it will be perfectly placed every time. Might be a little bit difficult with something this small, but it beats getting a crooked old triangle like this right here. So this little guy is pretty cool. So detail-wise, this is fantastic. It does also say plastic model down here on the bottom, as if at this point you haven't really copped that this is not going to be playing any games, that you're not like, how do I plug this into my TV? Actually, someone should stick a Raspberry Pi in this and actually make a emulated PS1 on this little guy. That would be pretty awesome. But for now, hold on, especially if they made this actually work. Someone do that. Please do that. But yeah, this has a lot of awesome little functional aspects. So, of course, the controller can be plugged into either or controller slot. Same goes with the little memory card right here. It does have a little sticker down bottom. I will also mention at this point all the little details and everything on this, as well as the PlayStation itself, is all in Japanese. So at this time, as far as I know, there is no English version of this available for if you want something that more accurately represents the PlayStation that you would have had, or, well, currently still have. But yeah, once again, the memory card can slot in like so. Everything works perfect. It feels fantastic. The quality of this little thing is mind-blowing, and this is what really got me. I thought this button was really annoying the whole time I was building it because it was rattling around. I thought it was going to fall out, but this is actually functional. Check this out. Boop. It doesn't spring the whole way up like ye old PlayStation 1 would have, but it does make it easy to grab this to lift it up and see what is going on in here. So this is pretty cool because in here we do have a little clear part for where the laser would have been. I was very acquainted with that, getting all mucky, dirty and needing to be cleaned. This little central part can spin around as well. But speaking about this clear part right here, there is also a clear part here for the power button. There is no lights or anything featured on this little guy, but of course that would be easy to mod. But do have this one curious little leftover clear part. So when it comes to Bandai, when there's a leftover piece on the runner like this, or sprue if for sprue to runner, it is also X'd out here on the manual, so that means it isn't a mistake. I didn't forget to put it in somewhere. It is not used in this kit, but they would not feature this little part on that runner if they weren't planning to use it sometime in the future. So don't be surprised if we see a different variant of this kit coming up sometime in the future. So I cannot guess what this might be from. So I'm not sure how clear this will be in the actual video, but this has a little protruding part on top, about 1 millimeter in width, kind of looking a bit like a little Lego. And I assume that is the part that we will be seeing. So What could this be from? My initial guess would have been from a DualShock controller. That'd be that little light in it, but that is rectangular. So I guess it isn't that. More than likely, this particular runner was also used in the Sega Saturn kit that is also available. I assume both kits share that runner. Actually, no. This does specifically say PlayStation on it, so yeah, I'm stumped. Any ideas? Drop them in the comments. But lastly then, that little disc that can connect in like so. Click into that point, it can actually spin in there, which is pretty cool. I remember all those days of hitting that button, opening the lid and watching that spin back in the day. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So anyway, that right there is it for the review. There's not much I can really say here. It's a tiny little model of the PlayStation that's not small enough to use with action figures, and definitely not small enough to use with Gundam, so I'm not sure what you would use this with except a display piece. I guess you could use it with some kind of ball-jointed doll like Dolphy Dream or something like that. It's still not necessarily in scale, but it's a little bit closer. I guess it's just for display. I love this thing right here. I thought it was kind of silly that you could actually buy an actual PlayStation for the price this thing costs. But there's something so fun about building it up, putting it together, how awesome this thing looks. The amount of care, detail, love that was actually put into the design of this is off the charts. I am incredibly impressed and did not know how much I needed this little awesome thing right here. If you need one too, there is a link down there in the description. I got mine at hobbylink Japan. You can too. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more model kit reviews, and I'll see you next time. Once again, all my unending thanks to each and every one of you guys. Whether you just watch the videos, like the videos, share them, or support me on the channel memberships and over on Patreon like Craig Jury, Kaiser721, Bolwig, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhart, Hank Handsome, and Sean T.